is hot today. What's up, guys? It's Sunday, August 4th, 2024. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 855,404. TikTok, next block. It's a Sunday. It's supposed to be a rest day and a chill day, but Bitcoin's price went down a couple thousands. So I had to get out here and mine some fiat so I can get some more Satoshis. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I want to talk to you about today for a little bit. If you haven't watched my Satoshi Saturday video, go ahead and check that out. I laid out a foundation. But I left a little part out of it when I was talking about Satoshis being deflationary. One thing I left out is the other half of the deflation, because I first talked about people losing their coins, and that's why, and also it's a fixed supply. That's why it'd be deflationary, right? Another reason it would be deflationary is because people don't sell Bitcoin or Satoshis. They just don't, for the most part. Now, there are people that trade in and out, of course, but I'm not selling mine, and most people that are watching this video are not going to sell it. So it's a deflationary money. And also, the 21 million number is an arbitrary number because it really doesn't matter how many there are, to be completely honest with you. I just say that because that's the number. But the most important thing is it's fixed. It's a fixed supply. And I got to be honest, I'm obsessed with that down here on the physical world, because I know that my time is not infinite, it's finite. And I'm not going to be here long. We get about 80 years, plus or minus 15 years, something like that, down here on this beautiful planet we call the Earth. But and as a man, my job is to make sure that I live on. And women do that too by having children, bearing children and stuff like that. But as a man, you want to have children with women, but you want to make sure that they're taken care of. That's why you work hard and buy things, and that that you can pass down. You usually don't pass down cars and stuff like that. You can, but for the most part, we don't. We usually pass down, in a will. You give somebody some money, or you give them a house or something like that. But I'm stacking my Bitcoin, and I'm saying this on a Sunday because this is just a chill day. We're just chilling out. I'm stacking my Bitcoin, not for me, but for my lineage. I'm never going to sell it, never. Now that sounds crazy, right? Like, Jerry, how are you buying Bitcoin or Satoshis as much as you are, and you're not going to sell it? That doesn't make any sense. Aren't you going to take profit? This is why I tell people to study Bitcoin, because if you truly understand what you have, what else are you going to sell it for? I'm going to buy a house with it. Am I going to buy a car? Am I going to trade it in for fiat to get these worldly experiences? I could, right? So if that's the case, Jerry, then what is your family going to do with it? If they're going to have it and you can't ever spend it, then what are you going to do with it? And that's a perfectly honest question based on the old system that we used to be in and currently in now, but we're making a transition slowly but surely into the new Bitcoin Satoshi paradigm shift of money, the hardest money the world has ever seen. It's a legitimate question. So let me answer it like this. If I need something in 10 years, right? Because again, we're at about almost 94% of all, I believe, I haven't checked it lately. We're at about 94% of all the Bitcoin that's ever been mined, or that ever will be mined. And sometime in 2034, they're saying around November, if the mining schedule keeps up, mining 3.125 every 10 minutes for the next 3+ years, and then the halving's coming along. Right around that time, we'll be down to the last 1% of Bitcoin, right? We will have mined 99% of it. And I'm stacking hard until then. I'll still be stacking hard by then, but I'm gonna really stack hard because I know Satoshis are on sale right now. They just are, right? So if I wanted to buy something in 10 years, and I'm putting all this energy into Bitcoin, my quote unquote savings account, how am I gonna buy something? Well, there will be institutions, and there's a few of them now, very low level, but there was a big one that just announced one in the Bitcoin conference in Tennessee. I will be able to borrow against my Bitcoin, right? And that's the thing. When you have land, especially precious land, you can borrow against your land. You can borrow against a asset that people want, right? A very scarce asset, a very a high quality asset. And what makes it an asset that people want? Well, first of all, it's got to be scarce, number one. And number two, the demand has to be high on it. And right now, even though the demand is not really, really high, I'm talking about worldwide, for Bitcoin, it will be in the future. It just will be. If you know, you know. You got to study it to know that. So what I'm going to do, what I plan on doing is, I put some Satoshis away specifically to buy a house. Not to sell the Satoshis, but to borrow against it. I'll give you an example. This is another reason I talked about deflationary. The housing market, or the housing prices, if you notice, have gone up over the last few years, right? And look at the little kid. She's getting a piggyback ride. The housing market has gone up. It went from $200,000 per house in 2019 to around 400 and something bucks, almost doubled the price. And why is that? Is it because houses are better? Are they built better? Are they gaining value because they're getting stronger, or the demand for them are going up and the supply is going down? No. There's only one reason why your quote-unquote house goes up in value, is because we're measuring it in a broken money, and that's the fiat system, the fiat currency we talked about yesterday with the debasement of our currency. We're printing more dollars every single day, and it's diluting the dollars that you have now, thus increasing the prices of the houses or whatever we're talking about. We'll talk about the house in this example. And it's not that the house price isn't going up, it's that the value of the dollars to buy that house is going down. It's debasing the money that you have. But turn around in Bitcoin terms, an average house costs about 7 Bitcoin right now to buy a house. In 2016, I think it was 6,000 Bitcoin to buy a house. And then in 2020, it was less. And every single year, it's going to be less. Why? Because you cannot debase Bitcoin, which means you cannot print Bitcoin, right? So I have specific sats that I'm putting to the side for my house fund in 10 years, in 2034. And I plan on buying a pretty nice land with some nice property on it. And by then, who knows what Bitcoin will be worth by then. But I don't measure it by the dollar amount, the fiat currency amount. I measure it by what can it get me in my purchasing power. So let's say the house that I want is $3 million US. Okay, fine. And Bitcoin is whatever price, right? Well, if a house costs 7 million today, a normal house, let's say my house in 7 years, in 10 years, I'm thinking about 7 Bitcoin. Let's say it's a half a Bitcoin, which is 50 million Satoshis. I'll just give that to the lending institution and let them borrow it. They won't give me any credit checks or nothing like that, because they don't need to, because the collateral is worth way more than your credit. They don't care about that. They know that if you don't pay off that loan, they seize your Bitcoin. So I'll put that into a vault so I can see it and they can see it, so they can't take it. And then they'll let me borrow the fiat currency for the house, and then I'll just pay down what I owe. And then once I pay it down, because I'll use funds out of my money that I'm paying for my rent or mortgage now, and then some of the money that I'm using to buy Bitcoin, I'll just buy a little bit less Bitcoin or Satoshis and put all into that loan that they'll charge me a interest rate for, of course, which I believe in the future won't be that much, because Bitcoin it's going to be so competitive with these lenders in 10 years. Again, guys, you got to skate to where the puck is going. And I'll just pay the loan off monthly, and I'll pay double payments or whatever. And then once I give them enough fiat, they'll give me my Bitcoin back. And that's how I plan on doing it. But I'll never sell. For what? I mean, there's only 21 million Bitcoin in the world. There's really not that many. And how many houses are there in America? I think it's like 144 million houses or something like that. How many houses around the world? think it's like 1.4 billion or something like that, 1.5 billion, something like that. And those are just houses. Everything in the world, guys, will be priced in Bitcoin. That's why they say infinity divided by 21 million, because everything in the world is going to be priced in Satoshis and Bitcoin. And again, I don't expect you to believe that right now if you haven't studied Bitcoin. That's why I tell you guys to study it. It's a Sunday, you're chilling out, say your prayers or whatever, do what you got to do. If you probably went to church already, but take the time to learn this thing, man. I'll give you 2 good sources right now you can do on YouTube right now. Bitcoin University, or Matthew Cratter's Bitcoin University. That's a really good one. That's at the top of my list. I listen to him every single morning after I do my prayers. And then the second guy, I think, who gets a little bit more technical than Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University, is a guy named Rajat Soni. I think it's RAJATSONI. I have him in the description. He's from Indian. He's an Indian descent guy, Indian man. He's smart as I don't know what. He's early 30s, but man, you talking about visually breaking down stuff. My God, man, just start from the bottom of his playlist, and also follow him on Twitter or X. He has a lot of knowledge. He's only been doing it for a couple of years, but he has a finance background, and he's a really smart guy, man. And he gets it, man. I learned a lot from that guy. So in order to get ahead of everybody else, you have to do what everybody else is not willing to do. While everybody else is got Twitter fingers or X fingers or whatever and messing around and playing these political games, because I play them too. You got to study the hardest money in the world. While you're down here on this planet, the best thing you can do and the most important thing you can do is make sure your family's set up for generations to come. And there's only one way to do that, guys. And despite all the nonsense that's going on in this country and all over the world, them trying to divide us, which they're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about that this week. We're just going to chill out and study today, though, on a Sunday. Despite all that, we're going to put our heads in our books and do what we need to do, because they may try to take our freedoms and our liberties and all that stuff and go against our Constitution, and Christians go against our Bible and our beliefs and all that other stuff. We'll never let them win to do that. Never. They can try all they want. But I know one thing they can never do. They can't stop this. They can't stop God. Absolutely not. They can't stop your resolve and your belief. And for the monetary system, there's one thing they definitely can't stop. And I think you guys already know what it is. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.